All right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of our minds: social media and our kids. But we're not just talking about screen time here. We're going to go deep into the architecture of these platforms, how many of them are built in ways that can cause harm, and what a real blueprint for safety could actually look like. And look, this isn't just an opinion. The source material for this explainer puts it bluntly. It says the whole system is a profound ethical and architectural failure when it comes to kids. That's a powerful statement. It's saying the problem isn't that kids are using it wrong. It's that the system itself is wrong for kids right from the very beginning. So, let's get into the platform's core conflict. To really understand what's going on, you have to follow the money, because all the harm we're seeing, it's not some accident or a bug they need to fix. In many ways, it's a feature. It's a direct result of the business model itself. And here's that fundamental clash, right? On one side, you've got the platform. Its main goal is to maximize ad revenue. And how do you do that? You have to suck up as much user attention and data as humanly possible, non-stop. But on the other side, you have a child. And what does a child need? Well, they need to develop in a healthy way. That means they need safety, they need privacy, they need room to just be kids. These two goals, they just can't coexist. They are fundamentally at odds. Right, so that core conflict is what creates what the source calls an architecture of harm. Let's break down what that actually means, how these platforms are engineered in a way that can be so damaging. So how do they do it? Well, one of the main tools is a psychological trick called variable ratio reinforcement. It is basically a slot machine for your brain. Seriously, you just keep pulling the lever, scrolling, and most of the time you get nothing interesting. But then, completely at random, you get a jackpot, a video that's hilarious or a post that's amazing. That unpredictable reward system is, scientifically, one of the most effective ways to hook a human brain. It can lead to behavioral addiction by design. And this architecture of harm can lead to some really nasty outcomes. The source material lays out 10 of them, but we can group them into 3 big clusters. First, you've got the addiction engine. This is what can just grind down attention spans and weaken the ability to focus. Then there's the identity crisis. This is the constant comparison culture, the filter fatigue, body dysmorphia. It can be a real mess for mental health. And finally, the safety vacuum, a space where there's basically no adult in the room, letting harmful content, insane challenges, and cyberbullying run wild. But it gets even creepier. It's not just about what kids are consuming. It's about how they are being consumed by the platform. Every single click, every pause, every like, it's all being hoovered up to create what's called a digital dossier. Think of it as a permanent, hyper-detailed psychological profile. And this isn't just for showing them better ads tomorrow. This dossier can be used to predict and even manipulate their behavior for years to come, all based on data they handed over when they were too young to understand. Okay, I know. Hearing all of this, it can feel pretty bleak. But here's the good news. The source we're looking at doesn't just diagnose the problem, it actually proposes a solution. And it's not about tweaking the settings or adding a few more parental controls. It's about a completely different blueprint. Which leads us to this huge question. What if the architecture itself wasn't the problem? What if it could be the solution? What if we could use the same design principles not to exploit kids, but to protect them and help them connect in a genuinely healthy way? Okay, so here's the big idea, the microsocial network, or MSN. Now, to make this real, the source points to a platform called Web4.community, which is the only one out there built on this philosophy. An MSN is the total opposite of what we have now. It's not a giant, chaotic global network. It's a small, private digital space. Think of your kid's soccer team, or their robotics club, or even just your extended family. It's intentionally small and, this is the key, it's run by a trusted adult, not some mysterious algorithm. So, how does this new model actually create safety? Let's get into the nuts and bolts of how a platform like Web4.community is specifically engineered to counteract the harms we just talked about. This slide really lays it all out, and it's fantastic. Look at this. For every single harmful feature of the global model, there's a direct architectural solution in the Web4.community model. Algorithmic addiction? Gone. Replaced by intentionality checks. You have to choose what you want to see. The mental health nightmare of comparison? Gone. They just ban beauty filters and vanity metrics like like counts. Exposure to dangerous content? Nope. It's a walled garden with zero trust access. Only people you know and trust are in there. It's literally safety baked into the code. Okay, but you're probably thinking, how do they stay in business? This is the most important part. There are 0 ads. Instead of selling your kids' data, platforms like Web4.community charge a small subscription or licensing fee
paid for by a parent or a school. And just like that, the entire business model is flipped. There's no financial reason to keep users addicted or to spy on them. The company's goal becomes aligned with the user's goal: create a safe, valuable experience. The core conflict we talked about at the beginning? It's solved.
And this leads to what might be the most counterintuitive but brilliant idea of the whole thing: the power of not scaling. We live in a world where every tech company wants to grow to billions of users, right? Well, this model's greatest strength is that it's designed to stay small. By keeping the communities limited in size, you get real trust, you get real accountability, and moderation is done by a real human being who actually knows the people in the group. It's a feature, not a limitation. So, as we start to bring this all together, it becomes really clear we're not just talking about which app to download. This is a new digital blueprint. It's a choice between two completely different philosophies for our kids' digital lives. And really, that's the bottom line. This isn't just about picking a better app. This is about consciously rejecting the entire model of surveillance capitalism, especially in spaces that are supposed to be for children. It's about demanding something fundamentally different and more ethical. So, where do we go from here? The path forward is pretty clear. First, we can champion and support these new MSN platforms like Web4.community. Second, we can advocate for laws that actually mandate these kinds of non-algorithmic, safe spaces for minors. And third, we can support parents and teachers so they have the training to be great digital community leaders. Ultimately, it all comes down to this one question for all of us: what kind of digital world are we building for our children? Because it's being built right now, brick by brick, line of code by line of code. And the choices we make are going to decide if it's a world designed to help them flourish or one designed to exploit them.